life doesn't wait. Have you ever felt like that? Like no matter what's going on, no matter how much pain you're in or how overwhelmed you feel, life just keeps moving. You still have bills to pay. You still need to keep a roof over your head. You still need to make sure your family is cared for, even when you feel like you can barely keep your head above water. If you've been injured in an accident or you're fighting for justice in a legal case, you know this feeling all too well. You're already dealing with the physical pain of recovery and the emotional toll of a lawsuit. And on top of that, the financial pressure keeps building. Medical bills pile up. Rent or mortgage payments come due. Groceries, utilities, car payments, they all add up. If you're unable to work because of your injuries, you might feel like there's no way out. But I want you to know something. You are not alone, and you don't have to carry this burden by yourself. I'm Lorelee Siemens, your host, and today we're talking about a lifeline that's helped so many people regain the stability during the toughest moments of their lives. It's called pre-settlement funding, a way to get the financial help you need while waiting for your case to settle. In today's episode, I'm going to explain what pre-settlement funding is, why it's different from a loan, and how it can give you the breathing room to focus on what really matters, your recovery, your family, and your fight for justice. Along the way, I'm going to share real stories from people who've used pre-settlement funding to overcome financial challenges and find hope again. So take a deep breath. You don't have to face this alone, and there is a way forward. Let's dive in. So what is pre-settlement funding and how exactly does it work? I know when you first hear about something like this, it can feel a little bit intimidating. You might think, what's the catch? Is this just another loan that's going to leave me worse off? Let me reassure you, pre-settlement funding is not a loan. It's completely different, and it's designed to help people like you not add to your stress. And here's how it works. First, you apply. The process starts with a quick application. You don't have to worry about your credit score, your income, or providing mountains of financial documents. All you need to do is provide some basic details about your case and your attorney's contact information. 2, your case is reviewed. Once you apply, Stonewood Funding works directly with your attorney to review your case. We're not interested in your financial history. We're interested in the strength of your case. And then 3rd, you receive your funds. Once your case is approved, you can receive your cash in as little as 24 to 48 hours. And here is the best part. It's risk-free. If your case doesn't resolve in your favor, you don't repay the advance. That's right. If you don't win your case, you don't owe anything. Think about what that means. You can get the financial help you need now without worrying about taking on debt or making monthly payments. It's about giving you the stability to move forward, even when everything feels like it's falling apart. I want to share a couple of stories that really highlight how pre-settlement funding can change lives. First, Maria's story. Maria was a single mother, working 2 jobs, and she was injured in a car accident. A distracted driver ran a red light, leaving Maria with a fractured hip. It required surgery and months of physical therapy. Maria couldn't work during her recovery, and her bills started piling up quickly. Her savings were gone, her rent was past due, and she was terrified of losing her apartment. She told me, I felt like I was drowning. I didn't know how I was going to go on and take care of my kids. Maria's attorney recommended pre-settlement funding through Stonewood Funding. She applied, and within 24 hours, she received a cash advance that allows her to pay her rent, keep her utilities on, and take care of her kids while her case continued. Maria said, I don't know what I would have done without that support. It gave me hope when I felt like I had none. James' story. James was a construction worker. He fell from unsafe scaffolding. His back injury left him unable to work, and his workers' compensation claim was just dragging on for months and months. With his wife working overtime trying to support the family, James felt helpless. He said, I felt like I was letting my family down. I couldn't even pay the electric bill. James applied for pre-settlement funding and used the money to cover rent, groceries, and utilities while continuing his physical therapy. He told me the funding wasn't just about the money. It was about protecting my family and giving me the strength to keep going. Let's take a deeper dive into one of the most important points about pre-settlement funding. It's not a loan. I know when people first hear about pre-settlement funding, they're thinking, that just sounds like a loan, or isn't that just debt with a different name? It's completely understandable to have those questions. After all, when you hear phrases like cash advance or lawsuit loan, it's easy to draw comparisons to traditional loans. But the truth is, pre-settlement funding is nothing like a loan. And here's why. First, there's no credit checks or financial history required. Let's start with how a loan works. When you apply for a loan, whether it's a personal loan, a car loan, or even a credit card, the lender looks at your financial history. They want to know your credit score, your income, your debt-to-income ratio, and whether you are a safe bet to repay the loan. But pre-settlement funding doesn't work like that. Your financial history doesn't matter. Why? Because pre-settlement funding is based on the strength of your legal case, not your credit score. If your case is strong, if there's a high likelihood of a favorable settlement, you're eligible for funding. This is a huge relief for so many people. Think about it. If you've been out of work because of your injuries, your income might be zero. If you've fallen behind on bills, your credit score might have taken a hit. And if you've already dipped into your savings or maxed out on your credit cards, traditional lenders might turn your way. But with pre-settlement funding, none of this matters. You're not judged by your past or your financial struggles. The only thing that matters is your case and the justice you're fighting for. For example, imagine a mother who's been injured in a car accident. Her medical bills have wiped out her savings, and her credit score has taken a hit because she's fallen behind on her mortgage payments. She knows she has a strong case, but no traditional lender would ever approve her of a loan. But pre-settlement funding offers her a way to get the financial relief she needs, regardless of her financial history. 2, there's no monthly payments to worry about. Another key difference about pre-settlement funding and loans is that there's just no monthly payments. When you take out a traditional loan, you're expected to start paying it back immediately, usually in monthly installments. This is true even if you're struggling to make ends meet. Lenders don't care if you're injured or out of work or waiting for your lawsuit to settle. They want their payments. But pre-settlement funding does not work that way. You don't have to pay anything back while your case is still ongoing. Think about how freeing that is. If you're already struggling to pay for groceries, rent, and medical bills, the last thing you need is another monthly payment hanging over your head. Pre-settlement funding gives you the financial breathing room to focus on your recovery and your case, without the constant worry of how you're going to make another payment. James, the construction worker who fell on his job, shared this with me. When I heard that there was no monthly payments, I couldn't believe it. I thought, this can't even be real. But it was. The funding gave me the money I needed to take care of my family without adding one more bill to my plate. It was literally a game changer. Now, let's talk about the most important difference. Third, there is no risk if your case doesn't succeed. Pre-settlement funding is risk-free. Here's what I mean. If your case doesn't resolve in your favor, if you don't win or you don't reach a settlement, you don't repay the advance. I'm going to say that again. If your case does not succeed, you don't owe anything. This is called non-recourse funding. This is the biggest reason why pre-settlement funding is different from a loan. Think about a traditional loan, whether it's from a bank, a credit card, or even a payday lender. You are required to repay it no matter what. Even if you lose your job, fall behind on payments, or face unexpected financial hardships, the lender expects their money back with interest. If you can't repay, your credit score takes a hit, and you could face collections or even legal action. But with pre-settlement funding, that risk doesn't exist. If your case doesn't result in a settlement or a favorable verdict, the funding company absorbs the loss. You walk away and you don't owe anything. This is why pre-settlement funding is a true lifeline for so many plaintiffs. It allows you to get the financial help you need without the fear of being stuck with debt that you can't repay. Maria, the single mom who was injured in a car accident, shared with me, "I was terrified of taking on more debt. I thought, what happens if my case doesn't settle? How will I ever pay it back?" But when I learned that I would not owe anything if I didn't win, it gave me the confidence to move forward. I could breathe again. Finally, let's talk about the heart of pre-settlement funding. Unlike loans, which are designed to make money for lenders, pre-settlement funding is designed specifically to help plaintiffs. Think about what that means. It's a service built around the unique challenges of being a plaintiff. It's not about trapping you in debt. It's about giving you the financial stability to keep fighting for what you deserve. And it's not just about money. It's about providing hope and peace of mind during one of the toughest times of your life. I know this is a lot to take in, and there's a lot you need to remember. Here's a few things to keep in mind. Pre-settlement funding isn't a loan. There's no credit checks, no monthly payments, no risk. It's designed to help you, not add to your stress. And it gives you the freedom to focus on your recovery, your family, and your fight for justice, not your bills. If you're feeling overwhelmed by financial stress, I want you to know there's a way forward. You don't have to face this alone. And you don't have to let financial pressure force you into settling for less than you deserve. If you're feeling overwhelmed by financial stress while you're waiting for your case to settle, I want you to know there's help available. You don't have to do this alone, and you don't have to let financial pressure force you into settling for less than you deserve. Here's how you get started. First, you visit stonewoodfunding.com and fill out a quick application. Then, Stonewood Funding will work with your attorney and review your case. And then, once you're approved, you will receive funding in as little as 24 hours. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you or with someone you know, please share it. Remember, Stonewood Funding isn't just a service, it's a lifeline. Until next time, I'm your host, Lorelee, reminding you that life doesn't wait for justice, and neither should you.